there and welcome back once again to some more WRC or World Rally Championship. Today we're continuing on Let's Play and this is episode 15. In today's episode we are continuing on with our Let's Play and we're going to take another one through the World Rally Championship mode. You may be wondering why we do that. Well, it's because we've unlocked the professional difficulty now. Previously this was greyed out, but once you complete the game on normal you unlock professional difficulty so you can play through again. Normally I wouldn't be too interested in an additional difficulty mode in a game because it's not really that interesting to me playing through it on a harder difficulty. However, in this game there are unlocks attached to professional difficulty. Unfortunately, not unlike in the next few games where there'd be cars associated with this and various other bonuses. In this it's only special stages and cheat codes, but that seemed enticing enough for me to play through this once again, and of course I get to show off another car. So in our first playthrough of course we were much more fixated on watching where the AI would finish. We managed to win 13 out of the 14 rallies with our Super Impreza, so I guess we've got to use one of the less successful cars or one of the less successful drivers that we had previously seen the AI be. That made sense. One thing I will say that is kind of cool that I noticed during editing actually is when you're on the car selection screen, the car, you see the car as it is, so for example this is Zara, but in the background you actually see the movie of that car, which is I believe the same sort of movie bits they use on the main menu. Of course you'll see as the main menu goes on there's different sort of FOVs going on in the background, and these are the specific cars. There's about 3 or 4 you'll see on loop, so for example the Focus, the Impreza has its own. I thought that was pretty cool, but I think the car we are going to go with for our second run through is going to be the Hyundai Accent, because it had a very short-lived WRC run and it wasn't massively successful. One interesting thing to note about the Hyundai is that this is the Evo 2 edition of the Hyundai Accent WRC. The car you see in the background, and in fact in quite a few of the FOVs in this game, is the Stage 1 car which was run in 2000, but this is the updated model for 2001. Ericsson did pretty well in his run through, so we've got McRae, Liatti. I don't think Liatti or McRae scored points, so apparently he's won a rally once in his life though, incredible. We'll run as Alistair McRae because, I mean, it's a McRae in this game, which of course you can't do because it's Ford driver for Colin, but we get to play as Alistair McRae. He's allowed into the game, so yeah, let's go ahead and get into this once again.
There are few rallies more prestigious or glamorous than Monte Carlo, and this is where the World Rally Championship begins. It starts in Monaco, then heads up onto Alpine roads further north before dropping back down into the Principality. It's run entirely on tarmac, but snow and ice always make for a few surprises. The oldest event in the WRC calendar is the one the top teams really want to win.
Probably going to leave those in because they're actually quite cool. I didn't play the intro to the career mode, but I will replay that. I didn't see the point of replaying the intro to the career mode, but the actual individual rallies we probably will. So of course, we start well back in Monte Carlo once again. We won't bother with shakedown and we won't bother changing the default setup because it should be plenty fine, and I usually find it slower changing the setup as of previously. Okay. So here we are with our Hyundai, ready to see if we can change the fortunes of this fledgling team. Of course, Hyundai and modern WRC are doing very well with the i20 and so on, but back with the Accent, I think the Accent might have had a few stage wins. I don't think it ever managed to win a rally. You can argue amongst yourselves whether this was more successful than the Octavia or not. I'd say the Octavia is more iconic than the Hyundai personally. And we're already in the lead, excellent. So one interesting thing to note about playing as Alistair McRae, I'll get to the car differences in a second. You might actually notice on the timing screens he shows up as A. McRae. He is the only driver in this game to actually do that, whose last name isn't just displayed. So what I'm thinking is they either changed it because they thought it might get confusing. If players saw McRae pop up, they might assume that it's Colin. Or Colin was initially slated to be in this game and would be C. McRae, however, for whatever reason, the CMR license meant they couldn't get him in, so instead that's sort of a leftover from when Colin was in this game. So it'd be interesting to know what your thoughts are on that one. But in terms of the Hyundai, you might notice a couple of differences to the heads-up display. A cool thing in this game is the heads-up display is actually dependent on what car you are using. So of course with the Subaru we saw a sort of orangey display to the rev counters, or a yellowy orangey sort of hue. In this car we get a much cooler, in my opinion, looking sort of blue and black, very retro digital sort of look to the gauge, to the RPMs. On some cars it is, well, on every car it's different. On some cars they even have analog displays, which is in the case of the Skoda and the Evo. I think both use analog displays. We actually did pretty well there, although apparently we lost sometimes on the final two splits, but second place I'll take. I should have entered my name in there, but never mind. Apparently we are quicker on that stage than we were in the Impreza though, so I guess that's something. The Hyundai is actually a pretty good car to drive. Anyways, Sainz, McRae, Mäkinen, Schwartz, Dedecore and Richard Burns. He gets 6 in this one. And Petter Solberg's well down there. Sorry Petter. Although all of our Hyundai teammates are down there as well. Alright, stage number 2, let's go. Alright, stage numero 2 for our Hyundai.
3, 2,
I'm going to say it wrong the entire way through this just to irritate people. So yeah, as far as the individual gauge cluster thing, it is different for every car. The Subaru had a yellowy one, which I believe is actually accurate to how it was in real life as far as I can work out. Again, the Skoda and the Evo use analog, and everything else is digital, I believe. The Hyundai's probably got the coolest looking one of all of them, if memory serves me correctly. That being said, I think I've driven a fair few of the cars in this game. I haven't driven the Citroen in this game yet though, so I'm not quite sure what the one on that one's like, but yeah, on this car I do quite like it. The Hyundai itself, I will say, having only driven it on tarmac stages, or in that brief sort of first stage, and a little bit more because I did try and record this once before and it failed. Not like we did bad on the stage or anything, it's I had to go do something that wasn't this, so oops. But the Hyundai actually drives pretty well. As far as I can work out, it's more manoeuvrable than the Impreza. We'll have to see whether it's more stable on some of the rougher stages in the game, so it tells me it probably won't be. But in terms of the handling, it does, yeah, just feel like a sort of more nimble version of the Impreza, so that's kind of good. It's not a complete shitbox like it was in real life, kind of. I will say that Accent, as much as the Accent in real life is a hateful car, the actual rally version of it does look quite cool, with the Castrol colours. This Stage 2 version being the best. The Evo 3 version sort of went for a more conservative silver and red scheme, which I didn't think looked so good. I think it's because Castrol... yeah, Castrol dropped Hyundai in favour of the Ford Focus, I believe. Which, to be honest with you, as much as I don't think the Focus won any championships either after a certain time, if it ever did actually. No, the Focus never won a championship, I don't think. Yeah, it was still a much more successful car than the Hyundai. But no, the Evo 1 and Evo 2 had Castrol sponsorship, the Evo 2 being the far better looking one of the two. The Evo 1, in case you're wondering, is the car you'll see in the movies. It's got sort of a more scatterbrain Castrol design to it. It looks much more like a standard road-going Accent as opposed to this car, which looks like nothing else. It might pop up on here, I'm not too sure. But yeah, you certainly do see it in some of the cutscenes in this game. I'll point it out if I get to see it again. So we won that race by that stage by 5 seconds over Mäkinen, Sainz, Delacour, and the two Skodas are doing well apparently. We are 6 seconds up on Mäkinen heading into stage 3. So far, the hard career is proving to be pretty easy. Okay, stage numero 3. I'm gonna try and not start every single one of these with OK, but we'll see.
1, go!
Also, I can't say I'm too surprised, but of course, because this game has all the officially licensed drivers and co-drivers, they have the correct outfits on in the car, which is pretty cool, if you ask me. Also, I guess if we are playing through this as Alistair McRae, we'll, well, hopefully by the end of this, give him the championship reign that he never really got. I've got to be perfectly honest, I'm not too familiar on Alistair McRae as a driver. Obviously, I don't think he was as talented as his brother. He moved around a lot more than his brother did. I have noticed that. Of course, he was in a Hyundai this year. I believe this may have been his, or one of his first years in the WRC. He was with the Hyundai team. Then he moved to Mitsubishi in 2002, and I think he may have been privateer after that. I'm not 100% on that though. I'll have to do some research into Alistair McRae, but yeah, Alistair McRae is the more forgotten of the two McRae brothers, although he was British champion in 1995, which is something worth pointing out, I guess. But yeah, not really a name you remember all that well. That actually wasn't too bad. That was a very flat out stage, a very quick stage as well, that actually. I miss these quick stages. Of course, the later stages of this game was all super long rallies. We will actually enter our name in here. But yeah, that one was a real short, nice, breezy stage. How long did that actually take? That can't have been more than 2 minutes, surely. That was fun. Easy, but you know. It was a minute. Nice. Yeah, we lost out slightly to Mäkinen. Skoda's still doing well then. Armin Schwartz in 5th, Bruno's in 6th, and Harry Rovanperä is a fair way off the time as well. The Skodas might get a good points haul in this first section. Stage 4 doesn't look like it's going to be quite as fun or as short, but we shall see what it has in store for us. Stage number 4 for the Hyundai. We are in
3, 2,
a semi-night stage, I guess. A little bit later on. I think that last stage was supposed to be set at 9:30 in the evening, so apparently Monaco is yeah, pretty good in terms of its... They do this in like towards the start of the year actually, so I don't get why the timing's so weird. Yeah, Monaco's a bit of a strange old place. Most people just assume Monaco is a part of France, which I don't think is... Well, obviously, I believe... Actually, I shouldn't be speaking on that. I'm almost certain Monaco is its... Yeah, Monaco is its own country, but I believe they speak the French language and may or may not be owned by the French government. Can't quote on that, but I know they have a lot in common with France. Charles Leclerc is a Monacaisian person, so there's your fun little fact. I mean, either way, the Hyundai, it's probably the first time a Hyundai has ever been driven through Monaco, very affluent part of the world, Monaco. And also known for its pretty lax tax laws. So, yeah, if you ever run into several amounts of money, then, you know, maybe Monaco is a good place. Switzerland, I think, is pretty good in terms of their taxation as well. So, you know, if you ever wish. Apparently Canada recently as well, considering every fucking F1 driver who's got money from Canada. So. Yeah, the Hyundai is pretty good. We're also doing a hell of a lot better than I was expecting to. Monaco, again, or Monte Carlo I should say. Monte Carlo is a rally which I'm not particularly good at. We've spoken before, I'm not a massive fan of tarmac rallies. Don't get me wrong, I'm dreading this place in the next few games when we bump up the difficulty, but in terms of this game, yeah, this seems to be going pretty swimmingly. The sort of first stages in this game are fairly straightforward, so hopefully we sort of keep getting the good luck, build up a decent lead early on. I don't think I'm going to be able to quite cakewalk this as easily as I did in the previous career. Don't get me wrong, I don't think I'm going to be able to, like, I can't remember how much I won by, but I know I finished with 136 points. I don't think we're going to win all 13 rallies here, but I can imagine we'll probably win at least 5 or 6 of them. So if we can do that, we should have the championship, because Mäkinen and Sainz will probably fight among each other in terms of the other rallies. And of course, if they're fighting, if we win 6 rallies and they win, you know, 4 or 5, I guess we should be in for a pretty decent points haul if we can do relatively well in those rallies. I don't think we'll drop below like 5th or 6th though in any rally. I'm not expecting to get dominated at any point, but yeah, we'll see. I'm pretty confident in our abilities to do well here. We've got 4 seconds on Sainz, Mäkinen, Delacour, Schwartz and Burns. Schwartz still in 5th, Burns catching Bruno. We'll have to see if he can manage to do that. Stage number 5, final stage then. Let's go, 7 kilometers, Monte Carlo, let's roll. Well, at least we get some nice sun out for our final stage here in Monte Carlo.
Go.
I may very well use this as the thumbnail stage. That's the point of this. I've got to try and pick different thumbnails and stuff. Getting thumbnails in this game is pretty tricky because the replay camera's got like loads of different modes, but realistically only one of them really works for getting shots. I think I might be able to use the left side of the car. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to see. I'm sure I'll figure something out. Either that or they'll just be pretty much exactly the same thumbnails you saw with the Subaru, just with a Hyundai instead. So, oh wow, we are 7th. We've got a pretty good lead though from what I remember. We should have at least 13 seconds or so on Mäkinen, so we can probably afford to piss this stage away in fairness and still come off pretty decently well.
Over crest. 50, long hairpin right.
I'm trying to tell if the co-driver sounds different or not. I believe this game does have different co-drivers, although I don't quite know how that all works. I don't think it's car for car. I don't think the actual co-drivers recorded the lines, or at least I'm fairly certain they didn't. Otherwise it probably would have been said on the back of the box. So, I mean, it could be my ears, it could be a case of each manufacturer has a different co-driver, or it could be there's just 2 co-drivers in the game, and sort of it's just a share of manufacturers, and apparently the Hyundai is just one of the manufacturers where we get to hear this co-driver as opposed to the other. I want to say that's probably it, so yeah. Also the damage on this car is interesting. We end up with a bit of a sort of air duct on the side, like you'd find on a modern day Ferrari or something, so that's quite sexy. Schwartz is in 4th. Skoda's going to get some good points out of this. Be interesting to see sort of how the championship shakes up compared to how he was playing through it with Solberg. I guess the 2 big differences we may see is Burns step up on the championship ladder in a big way. I'm hoping we see Citroen score a point. That's sort of my dream. I would have picked Citroen in this game, but I've got Citroen planned for something else. And also the Zara looks a bit awkward in this game. And also, main reason is Rhino drove the Citroen. So, and you know how I work with what Rhino does, is I try not to use the same stuff that he uses. Because we're, you know, to a much lesser extent, because obviously Rhino's a lot better. But, you know, we may share an audience, and they may have watched his LP of this 4 years ago, or however long it was. And they may, you know, prefer to see a different car. I'm very sort of anal about car choices in these. I've actually got my car choices for like all of the WRC games ever written down in terms of LPs, and with the second channel, which I do need to get on. Making those videos. We'll see if that happens anytime soon. I hope it does though. Good song, that one. Actually, listening to some of the replay songs, there is some licensed music in this game, which is pretty cool. You've come first. You've unlocked bonus stages. I don't know what bonus stages we've unlocked, but apparently we've unlocked some bonus stages. That's the reason we play on professional, baby. Anyways. In terms of our final standings on this stage, Sainz was very, very close behind us. Mäkinen, Delacour, Schwartz and Richard Burns, who, as unfortunately by the looks of it, pushed old Bruno off. Indeed he has. So we get 10 points with a total rally time of 12 minutes. Magical. Followed by Sainz, Mäkinen, Delacour, Schwartz and Burns. Sainz, Mäkinen and Delacour are your ones to watch out for throughout this. So we are the Rally Monte Carlo winners. There is the points table currently. Schwartz picking up 2 points. Skoda gets 4 points apparently, because the point system in this game makes no fucking sense and I don't get it. So Hyundai with 10, Ford with 6, Mitsubishi with 4, Skoda with 4, Subaru with 2. And then Peugeot and Citroen, of course, get no points. So that's it for this episode. Thank you all very much for watching. Next time we're going to be taking a look at the Rally Sweden once again, so join us for that. Until then, farewell.
You know what I feel. The sorrow that my heart holds in, knowing just where my hopes and dreams are going. I won't let you back. Got up in a wall that you are not part of. Eyes on the slit of your father with love.